All right, picture this. You've just finished your big quarterly business review with all your top retail media partners. And let me tell you, it was a home run. The numbers looked amazing, your boss is ecstatic, and you're pretty much the hero of the marketing department. But what if I told you that whole success story was, well, an illusion? An illusion built on a foundation of metrics that just don't add up.
I mean, on the surface, everything looks incredible, right? You've spent $47 million, and the dashboard is just screaming success. Just look at that. Kroger is reporting a 9.1x return on ad spend. We call that ROAS. Target, they're saying they delivered 35% new-to-brand customers. All in all, you've got this beautiful blended ROAS of 7.6x. That means for every single dollar you put in, you supposedly got $7.60 back. I mean, come on, who wouldn't be thrilled with those results?
And then, right when the champagne is about to pop, a sharp analyst, the quiet one in the corner, asks one simple, devastating question. If all that revenue from our ads was real, why didn't the company's actual bottom line reflect it? And just like that, the whole room goes silent. Because, well, the math doesn't lie. You take the $358 million in reported ad revenue, subtract the $89 million in actual growth, and you're left with $269 million. That's the size of the hole in the story. It's phantom revenue. And today, we are going to figure out exactly where it came from.
So how in the world does something like this happen? It's not that retailers are necessarily sitting in a dark room, twirling their mustaches and trying to deceive you. No, the problem is more subtle. It's a crisis of standardization. They're all using different definitions for the same words, creating this thick fog of confusion that hides what's really going on. So let's pull back the curtain on the 3 biggest lies your dashboard is telling you. The first lie is about the most basic word of all, sales. You'd think a sale is a sale, right? Well, the industry standard set by the IAB is crystal clear. A sale should be reported as net sales. That means you take all the money that came in, and then you subtract all the money you had to give back because of returns, cancellations, and refunds. It's the actual money that stays in the bank. But here's the catch. Some retailers, they report gross sales. That's the number before you factor in any returns. And why would they do that? Simple. It's always a bigger, more impressive number. It makes their performance look better. But it means when you're looking at your dashboard, you're not comparing apples to apples. It's more like apples to watermelons. And the impact here is massive. Take this beauty brand, for example. They found that one of their partners was reporting gross sales. Once they factored in their 18% return rate, their actual revenue was 22% lower than what the dashboard said. And here's the really crucial part. This trick actually rewards the least transparent partners with more of your budget because their inflated numbers look the best.
Okay, on to lie number 2, the attribution window. This sounds technical, but it's pretty simple. It's the period of time after someone sees or clicks your ad that a retailer can raise their hand and say, hey, we get credit for that sale. The IAB standard suggests a default of 30 days, which seems like a pretty reasonable amount of time to say an ad influenced a purchase.
But in the real world, it's the Wild West out there. Just look at this table. This shows the exact same customer journey. One person clicking an ad and making a few purchases over time, reported in wildly different ways. A retailer with a 7-day window says they drove $42, but one with a 365-day window, they claim credit for every single purchase that person makes for an entire year, blowing the number up to $387. That is a 9x difference from the exact same ad click.
And that brings us to our third and final lie, the new-to-brand customer. Look, finding genuinely new customers is the holy grail of marketing, so this metric is absolutely critical. The IAB recommends using consistent look-back periods to define what new actually means, which would give everyone a clear, comparable standard. But instead, retailers have cooked up at least 6 different flavors of new. They can say a new customer is someone who just hasn't bought in the last 30 days. Or, and get this, they can call someone new just for buying a different flavor of a product they already know and love. By calling a loyal customer new to a SKU, they can make their acquisition numbers look absolutely incredible even when they aren't bringing in any truly new buyers at all. And this is where it gets really crazy. A snack brand was over the moon about a 73% new-to-brand rate from one of their partners. But an audit pulled back the curtain. The retailer was defining new as new to a specific SKU. So what was the actual rate of customers who had never bought the brand before? Just 18%. The rest were just loyal customers trying a different flavor. So look, these aren't just little theoretical problems. They have huge, real-world financial consequences. Let's dig into a case study of a major CPG brand that finally decided to stop trusting the dashboards and start verifying the numbers for themselves.
First up, they audited retailer C, who was reporting this fantastic 8.4x ROAS. But the audit dug up a hidden 180-day attribution window. When they corrected it to the 30-day industry standard, the real ROAS was only 5.7x. The number on the dashboard was inflated by almost 50%.
And it got even worse with retailer E. They were claiming their ads generated a 42% incremental lift in sales, but the brand ran their own independent test and found the real lift was only 11%. The retailer's number was inflated by a staggering 282% because their test used a tiny, statistically invalid sample size.
So, armed with the cold hard truth, the brand took decisive action. They cut a total of $18.6 million from their annual budget for all the retailers who were inflating their numbers or just refused to be transparent.
And here's the best part. They took that $18.6 million and they reinvested it with their honest, transparent partners. The result? With the exact same total budget as the year before, they generated an additional $33 million in real incremental growth. They didn't spend more. They just spent smarter.
Now, I know this all might sound a little daunting, but the good news is you can fight back. You don't have to just accept this measurement chaos. Let's walk through the toolkit you need to enforce the truth and get real clarity on your own spending. Here's a simple 4-step framework. First, define your terms. You tell your partners you will only accept IAB's standard definitions, period. Second, demand transparency. They have to disclose all their methodologies, no more hiding behind proprietary models. Third, verify their claims with your own independent tests. And fourth, and this is the big one, get it all in writing in your contracts.
And this right here is your secret weapon. It's called a budget contingency clause. By putting language just like this directly into your contracts, you make a chunk of your budget conditional on them proving their numbers are real and standard compliant. When their revenue is on the line, you will be amazed at how quickly they find a way to become transparent.
So ultimately, this whole thing boils down to a simple choice. As a brand leader, you're standing at a crossroads, and the path you choose is going to define the future of your brand's growth and probably your own career.
In future A, you keep trusting the dashboards. You'll keep pouring money based on those beautiful, inflated numbers. And you'll waste millions on partners who are gaming the system. And a year from now, you'll be the one trying to explain to your CFO why real growth has stalled. But in future B, you audit and you enforce standards. You allocate your budget based on truth. You drive 25% more real revenue. And you become the hero who finally fixed measurement.
So the question for you is this. You now know that if your ROAS looks too good to be true, it almost certainly is. The standards to fix this problem exist, but here's the thing. Enforcement is up to you. So what's it going to be? Will you continue to trust, or will you choose to verify? The choice is yours.